India is saying they may start buying their gold in rupees. They had said last week it would be in gold that they would buy oil. But now they're talking about using rupees to buy oil. You've got this pressure to shut off the oil exports of Iran. They then import a lot of their gas in. Iran looks like they could be breaking a little bit and saying, okay, we'll let the IAEA UN inspectors back in. Israel says Iran's bluffing about blocking the strait. All of this is just really getting to a fever pitch right now. And the globalists, they want a new war because that'll create a political diversion for them while they're setting up this economic dictatorship in Europe. And that's not my words. That's the Financial Times of London. You know, the big victory that Europe's agreeing to sign over all their rights to this receivership body of bankers from Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and others who engineered the collapse and who are profiting from it. So it's basically like Bernie Madoff becoming president because he ripped people off, or making Ken Lay your leader. But where do you see this going with Iran, and how does it tie into all these other factors? It looks like things are quickening everywhere.
Well, it's remarkable. I mean, since I wrote Atomic Iran in 2005, I think right now when I predicted, going back to 2005, it's just beginning to happen. I think we're already in a war. The war has already started between Israel and Iran. All of these assassinations of Iranian scientists, the suspicious explosions in Iranian nuclear facilities, the cyber attacks on the Iranian nuclear energy industries, this is all orchestrated out of Israel. And my guess is also with the help of U.S. intelligence. The war has already started. It's a covert war. It's a shadow war. It's going to break out into a shooting war any day. All the signs are there. Iran is not going to be able to long sustain a real oil embargo. And the EU has said within 6 months they're going to begin embargoing Iranian oil. Israel has been recently, last few days, saying they think this year there will be a nuclear weapon created in Iran, and that it may quickly reach the point when it's too late to attack Iran. These are clear signals that Israel is saying a preemptive strike now against Iran is around the corner, and the green light has to have been given by the White House, despite Obama having supported, I believe, radical Islamic interests all through the Middle East. By the
way, I saw the text of a Council on Foreign Relations talk that happened a few weeks ago that was an addendum to the article about it's time to hit Iran. And they were in there discussing, well, we're going to hit Iran, but we've got to be ready to absorb their counterstrike and do nothing. And people were all gasping. I don't see the United States and Israel when they attack, or Israel attacks, when Iran responds, not responding back. I mean, that sounds delusional.
I agree. See, Alex, I've been working, people say, oh, I'm a warmonger, I'm in support. I've been working since 2005 to try to prevent a war. I think a war is the most disastrous thing here. Iran has a right to nuclear energy technology. We've lacked a way to work with Iran. Iran is crafty. I think this recent round of new negotiations and inspections that Iran's going to offer are simply a way of Iran buying more time. Iran has wanted a nuclear weapon, and they've been on loggerheads with Israel. And the war is now inevitable. When it occurs, it's going to be a regional, if not a global war.
Hold on, we're back in 1 minute. I want to hear from your deep research how you think this is going to go once the war starts, what some of the different scenarios are that run from bad to worse. We'll only have 5 minutes with you. We appreciate your time. He writes for WorldNet Daily. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. After he leaves us, researcher Alan Watts joining us. Stay with us. I even forgot we have calls on the birth certificate. I opened the phones up. I am so bad. From John, Brennan, and others. And I got Dr. Corsi on. I got into Iran. Briefly, what are some of the scenarios? How do you see this starting, and what do you see Iran doing?
Well, I see almost any day now we can wake up and find out that Israel's launched a preemptive military airstrike against Iran. It could happen any day now. And when it's not just going to be one strike, it's going to be an air campaign. It may even involve missiles. I would say that over a period of time, it could become nuclear on Israel's point. Israel could use some of its tactical nuclear weapons. Within hours of the first strike, Hezbollah in Lebanon will certainly launch attacks against northern Israel. Hamas in the Gaza will launch rocket attacks. Perhaps Egypt will join. You'll have a regional war within 24 hours. And the regional war will be unpredictable. There's going to be thousands of people killed because Iran has the capability of launching missiles, even conventional missiles, and killing thousands in Israel.
And you're going to have sympathetic responses by people in Israel who aren't coordinated or under any flag. They're going to start stabbing, shooting, and blowing stuff up.
And you're going to have, other involvement. Saudi Arabia is going to may or may not just stand by. Russia may or may not just stand by. Russia's certainly not going to see Iran defeated by Israel without some involvement. It's unpredictable. It's like what happens in 1914, or you get a World War I.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people describe it, as a big roll of the dice. And of course, I've also read that Iran's probably got a lot of stuff under their hat that they've gotten from the Russians and Chinese.
And don't rule out attacks in the United States. You've still got al-Qaeda elements, Hezbollah elements that are active and available in the United States. It may not be a massive attack like a 9/11, but there's certainly the capability of having retaliation terrorist strikes within the United States once the war in Israel, between Israel and Iran.
And to be specific, I mean, you don't mean the type of al-Qaeda Obama used in Libya. You mean people affiliated with Wahhabis. But I mean, expanding on that, the Iranian head of intelligence, as you know, a month ago said they would launch attacks in Tel Aviv and in the U.S. asymmetrical. That's quite an escalation there, because now the establishment could do a false flag and blame Iran. That doesn't sound too crafty by Iran on my part. I mean, I know they are smart, but that doesn't sound smart.
Well, it's why it's unpredictable, because retaliation or a step taken by either Israel or Iran, once a war starts, could escalate it, because it leads to a miscalculation, a retaliation, another step.
But that's my point. Clearly that was fake, with the guy wanting to use car salesman to kill the ambassador. But then you have the head of their intelligence saying, we'll do stuff like that. I mean, clearly that would really help Obama if this war starts. That'll give him an excuse to grandstand, crack down on the general population.
No question. Freedoms will be lost in this, as they have been in every war, and that'll be calculated. But also, people shouldn't step back and think, oh, this is a war that Israel's just going to automatically win. This is not a board game. It's not it's not a computer game. It's not calculated how it's going to turn out in any way that you could.
The Iranians are a lot bigger threat than Iraq.
And the Iranians are highly intelligent, very well trained and equipped, capable of doing massive damage. Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza are going to be coordinated. They've been funded and trained by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard was causing us trouble in Iraq.
Israel couldn't even defeat small contingents of them in Lebanon.
Well, it's possible. Iran's already put components of its nuclear program in Iraq, and we haven't known about it. It's possible that Iran has made agreements with Latin American countries that we don't know about to come to the...
Well, Doc, we're going to obviously have to have you back up. This is just out of control, and you're saying it could happen anytime.
Any day, and it's unpredictable, uncontrollable, and I pray it won't happen. I've done everything I can to stop it, but it's going to happen.
All right, you're awesome, and I apologize to the callers. We'll have to get them on with you next time, but I'll go to the callers with our next guest. If you believe in this information and want to support its viral spread, go to the InfoWars store at InfoWars.com. We've got the new G.I. Joe InfoWars t-shirts. We've got the incredible Pro Pure gravity-fed filters available at InfoWars.com in the store. We've got a new DVD, Scientists Under Attack, the Don't Tread on Me flag. We've got all sorts of different bumper stickers to help spread the rebellion virally. It's all there. Wristbands, citizen rule books in every order. Order online at Infowars.com today. The water filters, the canteens. It's all there. Infowars.com.